All right, greetings everybody, and welcome to week number 2. That is right, week number 2 of your 7314 class, which is your reference class. As always, I'm your professor, Dr. J.S.K. Austin, and what we are going to do this week is a quick state of the course update, and then after we get done with that state of the course update, I am going to teach you all about the Journal Finder and interlibrary loan features that the library has. It's important for you to know about these features. First of all, most libraries actually do have some sort of interlibrary loan and some sort of Journal Finder feature. So these things aren't unique to Mizzou, and in fact, if you work for a library currently, you may already be aware of these things. It depends. Some people are, some people are not. I'm here to make sure that all of you who take my class are. And yeah, these things can also be helpful for any papers and anything that you are going to be doing for the rest of your time in this program. So I want you all to be aware of those things. So yeah, we are going to get started in a bit, but first, before we get too deep again, I know that for this class, because we had a sync session last week, this is your first check-in video. So first of all, let me tell you why I do the check-in videos, but let me also teach you how to speed up a check-in video. And if you don't already know how to do that, you can do that now. I'm from the rural South. I talk very slow, so speeding me up, that'll make these videos more bearable. Usually people speed them up to a 1.5 and they're still able to understand everything that I say, so I recommend that that's what you do, and that will probably increase the chances that you'll be willing to watch the video. So hold on one moment. Okay, so first, as far as speeding up a YouTube video, let's go ahead and get into YouTube here. Hopefully there is nothing too bad on here. Hold on. Okay, yeah, that's not too bad. All right, so what we are going to do is we are going to find a YouTube video that... All right, yeah, we can do the Carmen Sandiego thing. That'll actually work here. So we can do, for instance, the Carmen Sandiego theme song. And I know you're hearing the echo, so I apologize for that. But this is normal speed. And if you ever want to speed a YouTube video up, and that includes speeding up one of my check-in videos, then all you have to do is to come here to this icon here, hit playback speed, and like I said, you can usually speed me up to 1.5 every time. And now you can see how much faster he's singing. And of course, you can also do that if you ever needed to. But yeah, so that's how you slow down and speed up a YouTube video. I upload my check-in videos to YouTube because YouTube, ever since AI, and I hate to say this because I am very skeptical of AI. I don't know what's going to become of AI and how that's going to affect us and all those things. But I will say that due to the AI features that Google has incorporated, yes, the auto captioning on YouTube videos these days is just top notch. And so for a compliance issue, I do upload them to YouTube so they can auto caption, and the auto captions seem to work for students who are who have some sort of hearing impairment or something like that. So yeah, the captioning has been very good with accessibility, and so that's why I upload those check-in videos there. And the reason why I do check-in videos, if I didn't make that clear last week, is because there are basically two types of students. There is the type of student who just wants to get the A, the type of student who just wants to do the best job that they can. Well, I shouldn't say just wants to do the best job that they can. Sometimes they do and sometimes they don't, but they mainly want to get the grade and get the class out of the way and then get the degree and then start making more money because they've gotten the degree. That is typically what you have with some students. You've got some students who are that way, and then you, on the flip side, have students who they don't just want an A and they don't just want to pass the class. They actually do want to establish some sort of relationship, some sort of bond with the professor, or they want to, you know, at least establish a dialogue, feed on the professor's knowledge of the field and that sort of thing. And so the check-in videos are really for that second group of people. I would say that check-in videos are not necessarily going to help you do better in the class. They might, but they also technically may not. The class is designed so that you can be very successful in the class without watching the check-in videos, but the check-in videos can add context to the class. They make each iteration of the class unique because these are all new check-in videos. I don't recycle the check-in videos that I had from spring 2025 or summer 2025. These are all fall 2025 check-in videos and things like that. So it's a way to kind of make each iteration of the class unique and make it allow it. I think it allows this particular group of students to own this class if they have check-in videos and if I'm dialoguing with you all specifically through these check-in videos. But they are optional, but again, I do think that they're going to be helpful. And in this particular class, they're going to be check-in videos that do talk about some of the assignments, and they're going to be check-in videos that introduce you all to some of the databases. And so learning about the databases, that's something that a lot of my students have enjoyed in the past. Okay. All right. So now that we've got all that out of the way, let's do the state of the course update, and then we are going to go over the journal finder and interlibrary loan features that our library offers. Okay. So first of all, with the state of the course update, I want you all to be aware, first of all, that the partner assignments have been finalized. So each of you, all of you should now have a partner. You can go ahead and reach out to your partner. Yes, so go ahead and reach out to your virtual reference assignment partner. If you have not been able to find them in the directory, then reach out to me and I will assist you in finding your partner in the directory, or if they're not in the directory, because students do have the option. I'm sorry, that's my dog. Students do have the option of not being listed in the directory. So if that's the case, again, get up with me and I'll make sure I get you in contact with your partner. I do not want you all to wait, even if you wait a little while to actually pull off the assignment, to actually get together and do the things. I do not want you all waiting around as far as getting in touch with your partner, because people's schedules fill up quick. And if you wait around, then that's how you end up not being able to schedule a time with your partner. So be mindful of all of those things as we go forward. And from there, yes, we are paying attention to the virtual reference assignment, but also I do want you all to be more aware of the fact that you do have an assignment that's actually due this coming Sunday, September the 7th, and that's going to be your, oh goodness, your database unassignment. Sorry. That's going to be your database unassignment. I'm not even sure how that happened. Okay. This is where that was supposed to take me. Okay, so this is the database unassignment here. And what you're going to do, again, is you are going to take this format here and you are going to, and Christina has already done hers. Now, there was no grade entered, so that's not a FERPA violation because this is your assignment that was going into a public space anyway. But still, I'm sorry, Christina, that popped up on there, but because there has been no grade assignment, because there's been no grade assigned, and because your work here is going to be visible to your classmates anyway, that was not a FERPA violation. But again, I don't know why it took me there. I'm sorry it did take me there, Christina, into the grading interface. But this is where we want to be. You've got your prompt, and you do basically what you see Christina has done here. You replace the information with cables with the information from your database, and then in Christina's case, that would be Medline. And yes, and then also, I don't know why, but Christina has done this right, and I want you all to do this right. For whatever reason, the past few semesters, I had a bunch of students not doing the UpNote, and I just had to send out a quick message to the class saying, hey, you got the UpNote to do. Do the UpNote as well. You have to do all the fields, so that includes the UpNote. And if you don't do the UpNote, then you are going to lose points, and then people, kind of hurried in and added their UpNotes and everything. But as you can see, Christina has done her UpNote. You do need to have an UpNote field. This should take you at the most 2 hours. It takes people between 30 minutes and 2 hours to complete, but make sure that the submission that you put up can be read within 2 to 4 minutes about. And certainly that does hold true with Christina's submission here. You can read that in about 4 or 5 minutes. And again, this is going to be peer-to-peer learning, and this is what you're going to do to learn about, to get some introductory information about these particular databases here, okay? And if there are any questions about this, or again, if you want to switch, if you want to do a database that you weren't assigned, I've already had one person switch and one person is asked to switch, but I haven't heard from the person that they would need to switch with yet. But yes, if you wish to switch, then by all means, please get in touch with me and we'll try to make that happen, okay? All right. And then the next piece here that I want you all to know when it comes to what's on the horizon is, yes, we are in that weird discussion board prompt now where we are talking about, I really don't like how this thing is kind of shifted. The to-do used to be a lot better than it is now. But you should see that you also have upcoming the discussion board prompt number 2. I really don't like how this has been redesigned. The discussion board prompt number 2, you're starting on that this week. Discussion board prompt number 1 was due on the 31st. So you're starting on this week with the discussion board prompt number 2, but that's actually not going to be due until September the 14th, so not September the 7th. Again, this weekend you are going to have that database unassignment due, but on the 14th is when you're going to, and you should have really at least 2 posts and then at least 1 reply when it comes to discussion board number 2. Golly. So make sure that you are, just make sure that you are following that prompt. I know it's a complicated prompt, but follow that prompt as well as you can. And, just do the things that you're asked for in discussion board prompt number 2. Again, I know it's a more complicated prompt than what we are typically going to have. And none of the other discussion board prompts, I do want to at least have you all rest assured that none of the other discussion board prompts are going to be as involved as the one this week. Okay. I think that is pretty much it for the, this is better. So yeah, the discussion board prompt number 2, let me just get all of these just kind of X'd out here so we can. Okay, so yeah, prompt 2 is going to be due September the 14th. And so just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind that this is a discussion board prompt that you're not just going to finish in a week. It's going to take you 2 weeks to finish it. And then we'll go back with discussion board prompt number 3. That's going to be one that you do in a week, so forth and so on. Okay, from there, I think that's it as far as the state of the course update. So we're going to talk now about Journal Finder and Interlibrary Loan and when you would use those. And this will take probably about another 10 to 15 minutes. So we're looking at about a 30-minute check-in video unsped. And then, of course, if you speed it up, it's going to be even shorter than that. All right, so let's go ahead now and talk about those beautiful library features that I want you all to know about. So we're first going to go to library.missouri.edu, and then I'm going to open a Google Scholar page here. And you don't have to be, this doesn't just come into play when you're using Google Scholar, but you're going to see the reason as to why I'm choosing to use Google Scholar here. So we can pick pretty much anything. Librarians love cats. Let's talk about cats. So let's say that you pull up Google Scholar, and I'm actually going to do a custom range since 2021 here. So let's say you pull up Google Scholar and you're researching cats, and this is where you start. So analysis of gut microbiome in cats and dogs. If you see a link like this, and that means that this is actually something that you can access without a login, without paying a fee or anything like that, paying a subscription fee. This is just something that is available on the open web. So you see that this article from the Veterinary Clinical Pathology Journal 2022, this is something that's available free over the web. I can access it just by clicking this, okay? But let's say what you have is not that type of resource. Let's say that, oh boy, but we might have to scroll to get there. And that's a book, so we can't use that, so hold on. Okay, this might be it. So as you can see, this is something that we don't have a link for. Now, another thing, I am going to leave this, even if my search fails, and what I'm trying to do here, I'm actually going to let you all see it fail, because I do need you all to know also that searching is not linear. And what I mean by that is when you're doing a search process, no matter how good of a librarian you are going to run into dead ends and that sort of thing, okay? So if I run into a dead end, I'm just going to leave it because I want you all to see that dead ends are a possibility. So we've got this. Use of the Freestyle Libre glucose monitoring system in diabetic cats. Okay. Now, as you can see, you've got, okay, I was kind of getting worried there because I was like, well, I see the introduction. You're almost always going to have the abstract free of charge. You're not usually going to have the introduction free of charge. When I saw that, I was like, oh, goodness. But now I'm seeing that, yeah, if you want to access the full text, yes, the full text is not available. You're just getting the abstract, the introduction, and then snippets here. So let's say you want this full text. The first thing that I recommend you do before putting in a interlibrary loan request is to see if you have this journal available. So we have Research in Veterinary Science, and what you can do is you can go to, you can come here to the University of Missouri Library's website, and what you can do is look for a specific journal. So that's going to be right here. All right, so looking for a specific journal. And then what you can do is just type that in. What's the title of our journal? Research in Veterinary Science. Okay. And so what you're going to look for is, first of all, we do see that they have something here, but we've got to see what access they have. So if we click full details, and they've changed this around a little bit too. I wish they wouldn't change things that aren't. If it's not broke, don't fix it. That's just kind of how I feel. But they've made some changes, and hopefully these changes will indeed improve things. So one thing you have to do is come back over here, and you have to see when this came out. This came out in March 2021. So if it was published in March 2021, then when you're looking for full text access, you would have to find something that covers March 2021. As you can see, this only goes to 2009, 2006, 1994, but we have Science Direct and we have Science Direct Freedom Collection that are going to the present. I don't necessarily know what Freedom Collection is, so I'm going to start with this and see if we can get to the journal this way. All right, and so articles and issues, if we go to all issues, and what we're going to do is look for our issue numbers. So March 2021, we were in volume 135. And it doesn't even look like we have to worry about issue numbers here, just volume numbers. So we were in volume 135, so we're coming here, 2021. Volume 135, we're going to scroll down. Again, volume 135, March 2021, as you saw there. And so then we can look for our page numbers, 253. So we are going to scroll down and look for page 253. We have passed it. Okay, well these pages are actually kind of out of order, so that's something that's affecting us. But we can also do this. We can just do a Control F and find. So that word Libre, I'm actually going to Control F and look for that, and that'll take me here. And then as you can see here, now we are looking at kind of an order, at least a little bit. It jumps from page 216 to 247, so this is a little weird. But then as you can see, 247 to 252, and then 253 to 259. So we've got this, and we've got our full text here. And our full text now, you see all these pictures, you see all these things. You see more than what was available here. Okay, because we were missing a whole bunch of other stuff there. So that's how you use the Journal Finder feature to find something that you do not have full text access to over the web. Okay. All right. Now let's say though that you've done that, and let's say now you can come out here and all right. So now what we have, this is the, might have to click out of that. Okay. Hold on for a second. All right, I'm going to pause it. Okay, so now in order to show you interlibrary loan, I'm actually going to look for something that is totally different, and I'm going to hope that it's out of Mizzou's coverage range. So let me actually close a few windows here. So let's say that we have this here. I'm going to say that there's a good chance that Mizzou does not have this particular article in this particular journal. This is from 1992, and it looks like the name of the journal is Water Resources Research. Sorry about that. Okay, so let's say that you are going to look for that. So let's first say that you are going to try to see if you have access to this journal, Water Resources Research. Yeah, that's the name of it, 2810. So let's see. And again, searches aren't linear. So we may or may not have the, okay, we actually do have that. Let's see if we have it in that coverage range. Oh, okay. So this is still okay. We don't have it online. We've only got 1996 to present online. And then they have paper copies from 1965, but we don't have to worry about that. This is good. We can do an interlibrary loan request on this, since that's what we're going to do now. So with interlibrary loan, here is how you would request something. What you can do is you can go to request an item here from the library homepage. And then you can log on to ILL@MU. ILL stands for Interlibrary Loan. I'm going to log on. It's me. Come on. Okay. And I should actually download. I will show you this. When you actually put one of these in, and I put one in not too long ago, when you actually put one of these in, then you're gonna get an email, and it's gonna say your request has been filled. Usually these are filled within 72 hours, but it's gonna send you an email saying your request has been filled and tell you to log into Interlibrary Loan to retrieve it. And what I can do, I put in an Interlibrary Loan request for this, and I have the full text, and I can just download it, and it's mine forever. Okay. So that's how interlibrary loan works, at least with electronic things. If you're using interlibrary loan with physical hard copy things, a lot of times that stuff does need to be brought back to the library within a certain amount of time. You don't just get to keep that. But when it comes to journal articles and things like that, oftentimes you're able to keep that sort of thing. Okay. All right. So if we want this, because this does look like it's outside the coverage for Mizzou as far as electronic things started in 1996. So this is outside of that in 1992. So let's go ahead and make a request. So what we can do is we can, hold on one moment. All right, sorry about that. So what we can do here is come to new request, but I need to move myself, and then you can go to article. And then you just basically fill in the information, and you'll see it here. So Water Resources Research, that's the name of our journal. Our article title is this, The Role of Nitrogen. Just copy and paste. And even though not all of these fields are required, the more fields you put in, the easier a time they're going to have filling the request. So I do try to put the authors in. We are looking at volume 28, issue number 6. Volume 28, issue number 6. October 1992. 992. Inclusive pages is going to be these. And I will say a lot of times you can probably benefit by putting this about 2 weeks out. You don't want to leave it on the default most of the time. I'm going to put it at September 14th. And I never fill out this stuff at the end, to be honest with you. But then you just submit request item. And once you do that, you'll have this outstanding request here. It'll be awaiting processing. And then again, I will get a little message, a little email from Interlibrary Loan once it's been filled. Okay, so that's how that works. And it's just that simple. So yeah, if you, I will say that yes, Google Scholar can help you build up your source list really quick. You can also just use the Discovery search tool from Mizzou Libraries. I might actually show that next week very quickly, just so you know what I'm talking about. You can go into the various databases and pull things, and now you know that you can also use Journal Finder and Interlibrary Loan to get the full text of things that you don't have the full text of right there in Google Scholar or right there in a database. Okay, so learn those skills. Hopefully that was all clear to you, and if so, yes, I hope that you will make use of those skills, and I hope to teach you a lot more through these check-in videos throughout the rest of the class. class. I am Dr. Jace, and not an librarian not knowing about interlibrary loan is a disgrace. Make sure you know about interlibrary loan, and just know that interlibrary loan is something that is probably available at any library, any public and academic library, I should say, that you will go to. I will say that there are going to be public libraries that charge to use interlibrary loan. Usually with academic libraries, it is all included in the tuition, okay? But that is it for me right now, and I will see you next week. Next week, we will have a check-in video where we will talk about 2 common APA mistakes. Those of you who have had me before have heard that spiel before, but if you need a refresher on it, you're going to get one. All right, I am looking forward to hanging out with you all this semester. Thank you so much for taking this class, and I will again see you guys in the discussion boards, and I'll see you